Hey guys, I'm Sasha Perl-Raver with Screen Junkies News, and this morning we were lucky enough to have Sarah Wayne Callies from USA's Colony come in to sit down and talk with us. We were hoping to speak about a new Disney clip, but unfortunately because of some technical errors, we were not able to. However, we did get a chance to talk to her about her work on Colony, as well as The Walking Dead and Prison Break. Take a look. You know what is magical to me and never ever left me wanting more? Lost. And that's where I have to go to my girl Sarah, because I am such a huge fan.
I wasn't in Lost, right?
No, I know, but you're working with Carlton Cuse and Jesus, Josh Holloway. I mean, just
Jesus Josh.
Jesus Josh
He's
Holloway.
going to now insist that I call him that forever. Jesus Josh.
I have an altar in my house. You can borrow it if you would like to. But what is it like working on a show like Colony with people like that?
Well, there's a lot of trust, which is to say, Colony is a big mythology show, right? And it's a show that drops you right into the middle of what's happening without setting up much of the action. You meet a family, there's a wall, there's an oppressive human government that's working for someone higher up. This is sounding more and more like MSNBC every time. I actually have a theory that our co-creator and co-showrunner Ryan Condal is a time traveler.
Oh.
And that he came from the future to warn us. He wrote a pilot about a wall. He was like,
Right.
walls separate people. This isn't really great. We didn't hear him. So then he wrote a second season. He's like, okay, now there's an oppressive regime that's trying to silence the media and look in anybody's homes. And that's not great either.
Yeah.
It's less science fiction and more contemporary with every passing day.
But isn't it incredible to be part of something that is that prescient?
Yeah, I mean, look, this job in a way means more to me than anything I've ever done, because the questions that we're asking are questions that we really need to answer right now. This is a question about, what do you do? When is it time to risk endangering your children in order to stand up for the entire population? I mean, this is a show about resistance, and there are people in the street right now trying to come up with creative ways to resist.
Totally.
It's amazing.
Well, the other thing that I think is so cool is, for a really long time, USA was sort of the Sunglasses and Smiles network, and then Mr. Robot came along, Colony came along, we've got The Sinner coming out next year. It's totally changed.
Yeah.
If you were to describe what the network is and how Colony sort of fits in, what's the mission statement now?
I think the mission statement is to be brave. There's a time in the world right now where maybe as entertainers we can use our voices to say something meaningful. Maybe it's useful to explore certain things that might have felt dangerous before.
Yeah.
That time is now. So, I get to work for people who are stepping up. That feels pretty good.
That's awesome. You are also stepping back into a role, which I always find so interesting. You were alive on Prison Break, then you were dead on Prison Break, then you were alive again on Prison Break, then Prison Break itself died, and now it is coming back.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the resurrection?
I mean, there's a good chance that I'll die again. Just statistically speaking, the resurrection was really interesting. I mean, what I think they chose to do with Prison Break in some ways is sort of a little bit the opposite of what they are doing with this Beauty and the Beast, right? Which is, rather than saying we have this property that was really important, that we really loved, now we're going to kind of change it. What they're trying to do is take the same band members and play a new song. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I'll be honest, I'm nervous, because I hear things like, it's the most anticipated show in history, and that just makes me want to hide under the table, because I'm like, that's amazing. We have only one place to go, and it's town. I really don't want to let these fans down. These fans built my career. This show built my career, and I want to do it right. We tried, but you never know until the clips air and people start judging them. Right. You just never know.
When you talk about judgment, our editor-in-chief, Roth Cornett, could not be with us today, but she and I were talking before, and we were saying, you got so much flack for playing Lori, which is really awful. And I wonder, do people still come up to you and are there still issues that you have to deal with? And as an actress, are you just like, you guys, it's a character?
It's a character, and it's a really interesting comment on the standards that women are held to. This is a woman who was in a consensual sexual relationship with a man when she believed she was a widow.
Right!
Believed she was a widow.
Her husband's dead, you guys!
Yeah, like super dead.
Not her fault!
Super dead. And it's interesting.
And you were happy to see him when he wasn't dead.
Was happy to see him when he wasn't dead. Didn't sleep with the guy again.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's interesting the standards that women are held to. Whereas Rick, as a man, as a father, consistently leaving his wife and son to go solve somebody else's problems, and they almost die every time he goes. He's a hero. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot in the process of doing that show. I will say that there are people who do, yes, sometimes come up and kind of dump their emotional baggage all over it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, I hated you on the show, and I blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, your girlfriend cheated on you in high school. This has nothing to do with me. But then the flip side of it that's amazing is, you know, I've got Colony fans who come up to me, and they're like, yeah, fight the good fight. We're behind you. And I'm like, I'm not actually the leader of a resistance movement, but maybe I'll start. Like, let's get out there. Let's march. Let's do our thing.
It would be unfair of me to totally take up all of your time. I have to bring in our girl, Charlie Feldman, who has some fan questions for you. Oh. Charlie, what are the fans asking?
So I hate to embroil you in this question because I feel like you've just answered it, but Billy Callahan has to ask, Shane or Rick?
What about Shane or Rick?
Which?
Who would you go through the zombie apocalypse with, all things being equal?
I mean, all things being equal, these are people who grew up together who were dear friends. I think if you had to make a decision, you sit those two boys down and you go, girls, you're both pretty, figure it out, we need each other. You make sure that Rick doesn't kill Shane and the three of us keep each other alive.
God, she's good.
That's a great answer. God, she's good. I like this question very much. BG Spider-Man wants to know, who do you draw from for inspiration for Katie since she's such a strong female character?
This sounds so pretentious, I want to punch myself in the throat, but Joan of Arc.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I think she's amazing, but like, I'm not saying that I'm Joan of Arc, but
you'll burn for your cause.
and if need be, like, you know, get on a horse and ride into battle. Why not?
Well, this lovely lady actually needs to get on a horse and ride into battle for Talking Dead, which you guys should tune in and watch. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us. This has been such a delight. We want to say thank you so much to Sarah for coming in and speaking with us. Make sure to check out Colony on USA every Thursday at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central Time. You can always like, subscribe, and click here for more Screen Junkies news. We'll see you soon.